400-year-old English playwright obsessed with monarchy shouldn't be relevant to 21st century American politics. But Shakespeare keeps showing up in our cultural response to President Donald Trump. Why? What do these two have in common, beyond bad hair? That's what I set out to answer in a book called Shakespeare and Trump. It starts with senior political advisor Steve Bannon writing two high-concept Shakespeare adaptations in the 1990s. One is Titus Andronicus in space, complete with scenes of ectoplasmic sex. The other, a pre-Hamilton hip-hop musical of Coriolanus set in South Central LA. Then, in the run-up to the 2016 presidential election, political torpedoes from Shakespeare scholars in the New York Times. A month after the election, students at Penn protest Trump by taking down a monument to Shakespeare. 5 months later, summer 2017, the nightly assassination of a Trump-esque Julius Caesar leads corporate sponsors to pull support for New York City's famed Shakespeare in the Park. Controversy erupts. Protesters storm the stage. The director gets death threats at home. Oh, you thought this was a comedy? In summer 2018, Stephen Greenblatt publishes his book, Tyrant, Shakespeare on Politics. So his thesis was tyranny, a political term. Mine is tragedy, a literary term shifting attention from a corrupt individual to a volatile social situation. Shakespeare elevates our conversation about Trump above cable news and comment sections. His plays help us see how our story might be told 400 years from now. Shakespeare helps us see the tragedy of Donald Trump. It's a tale of an amoral Machiavellian hungry for power, manipulating the people's fear, anger, and hatred of the government. Of self-serving career politicians around him, preserving their power by perpetuating social and economic inequality. Of the stunning moral compromises a resentful populace is willing to make for the comic relief provided by a charismatic clown. And of the social catastrophe that can unfold when power is centralized in one man and he grows unstable. A figure from what scholars call the early modern age, Shakespeare stood between two epochs. He represented the politics of medieval times coming into contact with the politics of modernity. Donald Trump, with his privileged background, massive wealth, petulant personality, and penchant for making knee-jerk decisions based on his emotions of the day, is himself a medieval king living in a modern world. Shakespeare had a strategy for dealing with this situation. He called it tragedy. Stark social inequality, self-important leaders of privilege, rampant corruption and hypocrisy in government, fear, anger, resentment, hostility, incivility, warring factions, and then some random event ignites this political powder keg, leading to widespread violence, pain, suffering, death, and the downfall of nations. Let's hope he was wrong.